So, as I said in my last video, let us consider the case of a balanced two-phase revolving armature salient pole machine. So, let me draw the diagram first, then you will figure it out more clearly. So here we are having this id. Now see that let me draw the winding also. So this is the construction of the machine. Now here you can see that uh, we will exploit some of the previous deduction that we did for our three-phase induction, sorry, not three-phase, balanced two-phase induction motor. Now in this machine, our winding D, it designates the two armature, means this is the pole axis, that D is the only field axis. Here no capital Q is there, and we are having two armature phase winding, alpha and beta, and also we are having two hypothetical windings, small d and small q. These hypothetical windings are means rotated like, one thing we can do is that we can consider the d axis. This small d axis is collinear with our this capital D winding, and q is an angle that is in quadrature with our capital D winding. That means we are assuming that we are having a virtual D shown by this red color and Q in this way. And now what we can see that the instantaneous position of armature here, like in most of the AC machine we saw armature is stationary and the field is revolving, but consider it for this particular case, for this case only, our armature is in the rotor and the field is stationary, right? Now here uh, what we can do is that instantaneous position of our armature is again we can describe the instantaneous position of our armature theta. So theta is an angle at a time t. So if your angular speed is omega, you can write theta is equal to omega t, right? Now what equations we can write? V alpha is equal to R alpha alpha I alpha plus P L alpha alpha I alpha plus P M alpha beta I beta plus P M alpha D I D. Now what about this we will discuss later. So V beta P M beta alpha I alpha plus R B beta beta I beta plus P L beta beta I beta plus P M beta D I D plus V capital D is equal to P M D I alpha plus P M D beta I beta plus R D D I D plus P L D D I D. Now it is now necessary for us to consider how we can write the inductance term depending on angle theta. For our means evenly spaced induction motor, two phase induction motor, we consider that rotor inductance were of sinusoidal, means function of theta, but here it will be a function of theta or 2 theta that we need to check. But one thing we can, without loss of generality, what we can assume is that it is periodic. Why the assumption of periodicity still holds? Because this the way it varies inside means it is executing a rotating motion. So in terms of rotating motion, if you consider that your shaft remains intact and executes a motion, and during that motion it maintains its constant axial position, then obviously whatever inductance you are going to get, there is a high probability that you are going to get a inductance that is a periodic function of theta. Now what we can do is that we can take lowest order non-zero harmonics, and then we can resolve and combine MMF and flux as space vector. Some complicated things we need to do here. It will not be as easy as it was for our two-phase induction motor. Let us proceed step by step. Consider LAA for calculation of L alpha alpha. Let us consider the current I alpha. It is responsible for production of MMF, that is N alpha I alpha, and this is means on its own axis, like this N alpha I alpha. If this is an alternating current, this MMF will sometimes go in this way, sometimes it will go in this way, right? So this is true for N alpha I alpha. Here N alpha is the effective number of turns for that particular alpha phase of armature winding. Now what we can write further, that Na I alpha cos theta, this is the component of I alpha's MMF along small d or capital DO we can write, because both are sharing same axis. And similarly along Q it will be Why we need to break it into uh, two different MMF? Because MMF, as long as it is MMF, we can directly calculate. But as soon as, because in case of reluctance calculation, if you can recall the formula of reluctance, it involves means that calculation involves path reluctance. Now, when you change the reluctance path, it is difficult for us to figure out how your reluctance will be if we try, sorry, inductance will be if we directly try to calculate the path. Rather, what we do, we can just break it in two MMF, and for these two MMF, let us develop just in line with two reaction theory. You can understand, like we are first trying to figure out the MMF, and then we try to figure out what about their corresponding these reluctances and or the path faced by magnetic circuit faced by that particular reluctance. So let us consider that lambda, capital lambda d, lambda q are the permeances of d and q axis. Now here you may argue that D and Q are arbitrarily selected axes. So what about the means like practicality or means like essence of selecting this lambda D and lambda Q, the permeance along to virtual axis. For you means here we should not forget that D we have already considered the small d is assigned along capital D. So once you fix it, means you do not allow D and Q to rotate like the previous case. Here this D and Q, they this reference frame starts carrying some physical meaning also, because you know the two definite position along which the permeance can be figured out. And another important thing is that these two permeances are having these extreme values. Like one along direct axis, when your gap between your pole shoe and your armature structure is minimum, and another along quadrature axis along which the gap is maximum. So always lambda d will be much more greater than lambda q, right? So what we will get here, the flux along these two axes will be right. So this flux along D is this one. So flux along Q will be how much? That will be lambda Q uh, n alpha I alpha sine theta. But here the tricks is that it should be minus. Why? Because we can see that okay, for this time let us be the way it is, like let it be lambda q n alpha I alpha sine theta. So the flux along will be how much? Lambda d in alpha I alpha cosine square theta, right? And along your q is sorry, so both these flux along alpha, do note that these two flux we just consider with respect to alpha. So why we are doing so? Because we are interested in finding out the flux linkage, because what we need to find out, or what directly affects our induced EMF, is the flux linkage, not the flux, neither the MMF. Direct dependency is on our flux linkage. So flux linkage of that alpha phase winding, we can write it is like n alpha sigma, sorry, lambda d n alpha I alpha cos square theta plus lambda q n alpha I alpha sine square theta. So that gives us, if we take n alpha square out of this, then lambda d cosine square theta plus lambda q sine square theta I alpha, right? So if the armature flux leakage paths have an additional permeance lambda, then what we will get? By the way, always leakage is right. So if that is independent, then that flux linkage is lambda n alpha I alpha, and the flux linkage due to it will be n square alpha lambda cosine square theta plus sine square theta I alpha, right? Now you this form, now see, along our alpha axis all these flux should act, the leakage as well as these two. So how you will get this? the total flux linkage will be n square, then lambda d cosine square theta plus lambda q sine square theta I alpha plus n alpha square, here it is also n alpha square, lambda cosine square theta plus lambda sine square theta I uh, uh, this is I alpha, right? Now what we can do furthermore, n alpha square lambda d plus lambda cosine square theta plus lambda q plus lambda sine square theta I alpha, right? So it follows that our self inductance of the alpha phase winding, it is being like equal to the unit current. Means how to figure it out, like if you make I alpha is equal to 1, then for this unit, for unit current it will become this will become 1. So this is for unit current. For unit current you will get this flux linkage. So now if we change due to saturation and nonlinear factors like hysteresis, eddy current, all these if we neglect and consider this n alpha lambda d, because if we consider saturation, hysteresis and other nonlinearities, clearly this lambda d and lambda q will not remain constant. Similarly, your leakage is also bound to vary with means operating condition. So what we can do is that we can write the self inductance L alpha alpha is equal to LD cosine square theta plus LQ sine square theta, where LD is equal to N alpha square lambda D plus lambda and LQ is equal to N alpha square lambda Q plus lambda, and thereby we are getting L alpha alpha is equal to LD 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2 plus LQ 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2, that gives us, it is LD plus LQ by 2 plus LD minus LQ by 2 cosine 2 theta. This is an important observation. This what gives you that factor when you try to deal with your reluctance machine, every time we have a contribution due to this saliency term, and obviously if you make this saliency vanish, like LD is equal to LQ, this you will get when this saliency is not there, like instead of having this, if you consider the genesis of different value of LDLQ, see LD only difference is this different these critical factors are these two permeations. Had we considered these two permeations are equal, we would have resulted in this factor is equal to 0, which is the case of our cylindrical rotor machine, right? Now this similarly, what you get for L beta beta, you just need to go to that original equation. From that, we can figure it out. Yes. So L beta beta, it is something that is associated with alpha phase. Whatever is true for alpha phase, the same is true for beta phase. Only difference is that all theta must be replaced by theta minus pi by 2. So just doing that necessary connection, like here it was, let us start from here, it is LD cosine square, instead of theta now it is theta minus pi by 2, and LQ sine square theta minus pi by 2. So if you do, you will get, it will give you that same thing, LD sine square theta plus LQ cosine square theta, and that can be written like LD plus LQ by 2 minus LD minus LQ by 2 cosine 2 theta. Now in the component along your D and Q axis, main flux component of due to I alpha is lambda in lambda D in alpha I alpha cosine theta, and lambda Q in alpha I alpha sine theta. This is I alpha current in D and in Q direction. So here the components in the direction of the axis of beta phase winding will be what? It will be, for beta phase, let me use different color. For beta phase, what you will have? Lambda D in alpha I alpha. Here lambda Q, and this is for D axis, and for Q what we will have? for q will have minus lambda q n alpha I alpha sin theta cosine theta. How these two extra terms is coming in terms of cosine theta and sine theta? Because if you see, this was I alpha cos theta, that was given you this where is that diagram? Yes, I alpha cos theta, that gives you with respect to d. Then if you take further that cosine theta means this much angle. How much is this? This angle is theta minus pi by 2. So if you take that, then you will get it with respect to beta. So obviously this becomes your lambda d n alpha I alpha cosine theta sin theta, and this becomes lambda q n alpha I alpha sin theta minus cosine theta, because it will come sin theta minus pi by 2, so that gives you so now if windings are balanced, so balanced winding, what we can write? First of all, what this will result? The flux linkage of B phase winding will be how much? Flux linkage of B phase winding will be n beta lambda d n alpha I alpha minus lambda q n alpha I alpha, right? So into our sin theta cosine theta. So if the winding is balanced, then we can write n beta is equal to n alpha. That means the stator winding is having same number of turns. So having same number of turns gives us what? The flexibility of replacing, we can take this n alpha out and we will get this, from this equation we will get n alpha square, or alternatively you can write n beta square. Both are same, any one you can write. So let us write in terms of n alpha square lambda d minus lambda q sin theta cosine theta I alpha. So basically it becomes a part of means giving an indication that it is 2 alpha, like it gives us n alpha square lambda d minus lambda q by 2 sin 2 theta. That further can be written like n alpha square lambda d plus small lambda minus lambda q minus small lambda by 2 into sin 2 theta. So this gives us n alpha square. If you club these two, then that will give you LD minus LQ divided by 2 sin 2 theta. Now, hello all. So last means we have observed that how MB alpha we calculated, and we found it like LD minus LQ by 2 sin 2 theta Now, as we are considering balanced case, so therefore there is no harm in assuming m alpha beta is equal to m beta alpha. Anyway, we can calculate m alpha beta if it requires. Now, we live with the last part, that is m d alpha and m d beta and l d d. So, what are the parts we need to do? What are the calculations? Try to understand. Don't get confused. We need to calculate L alpha alpha, right? Then L beta beta. Then you are having M beta alpha. Then M alpha beta is also equal to M beta alpha. Now then we are having M d alpha. So M d alpha is what? This is the only component of flux that links with a d winding due to a current I alpha. And that value of that current I alpha that links d winding is how much? That is the d n alpha I alpha cosine theta, because alpha winding is making an angle theta with the d axis. Now the flux linkage, therefore how much? Flux linkage will be this is the amount of flux, then flux linkage with respect to d winding. Okay, let me write separately. This is flux, and flux linkage will be how much? So thereby, what about the mutual inductance? Now we can write it like where we define LDD is equal to ND N alpha lambda D, right? So if we try to refer it to means this is with respect to stator, but the whole thing, if we try to refer it to the sorry, this is whole thing means it's mixed. It contains the stator field winding turn D and rotor armature winding turn alpha. So if we try to represent everything in terms of rotor or armature number of turns, then this turn will become the same formula. So that will give us, right? Now likewise m d alpha, we can calculate m d beta, that is equal to all the components replaced by uh, theta should be replaced by theta minus pi by 2. In case of beta winding, theta should be replaced by theta minus pi by 2. Therefore, if it was LDD cos theta for m here, it will become LDD cosine theta minus pi by 2. So that would give us LDD sine theta minus pi by 2. Now we need to calculate only the last term, that is LDD, that is the self inductance of the field winding. Now, do you think LDD would depend on theta? See, again and again I am telling you, in case of that field winding, what was true for uh, armature in sorry what was true for field winding in case of our salient pole machine, that we discussed during our discussion, that field winding we don't need to break it in two components. If you can recall the two axis theory of armature salient pole machine, the armature mmf was means taken in two part, because the field, in that case we considered rotating field. Here the field is stationary, but whether rotating or stationary, the field always face, in this case field is facing outer side surface of a smooth cylinder, or means almost smooth if you disregard that slot unevenness or slot grooving. And in normal case, when the field is rotating and stationary, the field face inner surface of an even cylinder. So field is independent, field self inductance should be independent of your uh, theta. So that LDD will remain same as it was. So that and also we can consider R alpha alpha is equal to R beta beta, and they therefore may be represented by RA, armature resistance, and another component will be RDD, that is field resistance. So with this, what means representation you can get? Let me write the equation. Equation you will get is, I am writing it from my copy. You can write it from your own copy also. From the previous equation, we will try to write it. It is LD cosine square theta plus LQ sine square theta. Correct? Here it will be same, just slightly different. Previously it was cos square theta, here it should be sine square theta. Here it is here it is LD. Now here what we are having? We are having alpha, beta, D, I alpha, I beta, ID. Oh, sorry, I missed one term. That is LDD. Right. So P operates both on this function theta and on impedance matrix. Now, what we can do is that we will see that how our transformation can help us. One interesting thing is that previously we were having our armature two winding, those are like in quadrature, they are having, just let me show you that one. Yes, in case of a machine where it was balanced, we saw that means balance not means there is even air gap. We saw it is for field winding, the axes that are in quadrature are having zero component in these two spaces, right? Like there is no component or also here, but here what we can see that for our salient pole machine we are having all the matrices entries are uh, filled up, and for some typical value we can find out the value of LQ. You know the meaning of LD and LQ, still for their value we can find out, like if you make theta is equal to 0, then what you will get? V beta will become because you can see that if you put 0, then what is happening here for all this equation, these two terms will vanish. And that is quite apparent because alpha and beta, they are in quadrature. So if you allow your theta is equal to 0, means alpha axis is aligned with the d axis. So therefore it is quite obvious. Now for Vd, what you will get? You will get, it will be now we know what all these are constant. All these are constant, right? Whoever is present there is constant. So what further we can write? This equation we can write like there is some problem in my board. So from this equation we can see that LD is the self-inductance of one phase of our armature winding when the axis coincides with the axis of our means stator field winding, and LQ when the axes are in quadrature. So therefore we can understand that LD is the maximum value and LQ is the minimum value of armature winding inductance. In the next video we will introduce some transformation matrix, so that may make our representation easier, because this although we claim that they are independent, but this form of representation is not very means easy. It is somewhat in decoupled, means it's, this form is not decoupled. So we will try to decouple them, right? So that we will do in our next video.